very quickly, the reason that it is most honest talk, if indeed it is, there may be something as honest, but the reason it is as honest as it is my only goal is to explain the two sexes. Yes, I believe there are only two sexes. To even state that is sort of a farce. Nevertheless, there are two sexes, and I do not deny that there are people who identify as the other. I deny that there are more than two sexes, that it's a spectrum. In any event, that is the reason is I am not a fan of either sex. I'm a fan of good people, and that's whether they're male or female. Good people is a very complex question, which is subject of another time. I should do an Ultimate Issues hour on that. What is a good person? Hey, Sean, you want to remind me of that? That's a very good question to be analyzed. Today's subject is one that I have mulled over much in my life, and I don't think I ever had it as a subject on a male-female hour, but I might have. In any event, I'd like to visit or revisit. Were you stunned by the divorce of some friends or relatives? 1-8-PRAGER 776-877-243-7776. I actually did have, but I don't know how long ago it was. Were you ever stunned by your own divorce? We can throw that in the hopper as well. I try to think about this obviously in my own life. I don't recall, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't recall ever thinking when I heard a couple was divorcing, whoa, that is a shock. When I have heard of couples divorcing, I was not shocked. I was saddened in most cases, but not shocked. I wasn't shocked at my own divorce or any that I know of, period. But people are, their own and that of others. So in retrospect, what clues did you miss? Whether it was your own divorce or the divorce of others. What didn't you pick up on? And, what is it that people are capable of hiding? I'm talking about good friends or relatives that you've been intimate with. How could they hide from you the strains of their divorce? Now, people can put on good acts. I guess I can include in this question, were you shocked by your parents' divorce? That must be particularly difficult. I would imagine that is harder on a child than seeing it coming. Because if you think things are hunky-dory and then there's a divorce, you probably question your grasp of reality. May I note that, what you just did? Because you're speaking of yourself. So this happened to Sean. And he said to me through the headphones, or earphones to be precise, you question everything then, including your religion. speaking of himself, obviously, but I don't think only of himself. That's why it's another question that I have raised even recently, very recently on the show, on the male-female hour, is waiting for the notion, which is very honorable, of waiting for the kids to go to college. But what do you do until then? Do you act like things are good? Do they know you're sleeping in separate rooms, for example? So then, is it better to divorce earlier than to act like it's good and divorce later? These are questions. These are not suggestions, but people need to ask these questions. I think the thing that I have learned, for example, that college-age kids are often very deeply affected by their parents' divorce at that time. And I'm not advocating that you not divorce. My belief is you have to do the divorce right if you can. I don't think it's fair to ask people to live in misery the rest of their lives for the sake of the kids. I don't think it's fair. But I don't know if the wisest thing is to act like things are great and then, ba-doom, the guillotine just drops. Look, there's no perfect answer. Life is messy. But were you shocked by your parents, by your friends, by your own divorce? An interesting thing to ask a child who was shocked by their parents' divorce. In retrospect, years later, do you see why they divorced? So Sean is nodding his head. How long did it take you? Did it take for you to understand why they divorced? Once he saw them both happily remarried. What an interesting answer. Well, this is why I believe it is very important at as early an age as possible to develop shock absorbers and to understand that life is messy and that pain is pretty universal. We have certain unrealistic expectations in America of life, and it is part of the reason for the contemporary problems. The belief that life should be perfect, and when it isn't, a lashing out. Okay, I will take your calls. Shocked by someone's divorce is the subject. Male-female hour. I'm Dennis Prager.